Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Friday, October the 8th. The year's 2021. Let's talk trading. How to improve your trading, part 3 with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and from Walmal's. Walmal, welcome back. Long time no hear.
Yes, it's been a while.
Or long time no video, I should say.
No video. Yeah, we've talked almost every day, but yeah, it's been a while since I've been on a video with you, sir.
So this week we've been talking about how to improve your trading. So maybe you can share your take on how a trader can, what they can do to improve their trading.
So I think, well, first of all, I think you've been talking about, the psychology of it all, and that's absolutely, the three-legged stool. That's probably if they can be a prominent leg in a three-legged stool, I'd say that's the prominent leg. But the other things that you need to go and keep in mind is, I guess the biggest thing is practice, practice, practice. After the psychology, it's practice, practice, practice. Go and do it. Go and do what your trading plan says. Go out there and do exactly what it says to do and practice doing it. I don't know how many times, I still do this today. When I get myself into trouble, it's sort of like, I'll go back and look at a trade where I messed up. In fact, I think I told you about the other day. I actually made a pretty decent amount of money, but when I went back and looked at my trades, it was sort of like, I don't, it was almost like I think I said something along the lines of, I don't deserve this money, because I didn't follow my trading plan. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And the market gods, so to speak, went and smiled on me that day and went and protected me. There's been other days where, of course, you go and do everything right and you wind up on the negative side. But what I do know is, again, because, I say this most videos, is that I'm trading based on statistics for the most part. And so because of that, I know that if I do what my trading plan says to do, in the long run, I'm going to have more money at the end of the day or at the end of the week or at the end of the month than I did at the beginning of all those 3 time periods. And that's what we got to do. But the only way you can do that is to go and practice, practice, practice. And I think, this is something I think, Kira, we really haven't talked about very much, but I think one of the things that helps you with your psychology, throwing it back in that direction, is you go and practice and you get so used to doing what you're supposed to be doing so that the psychology becomes less, I don't want to say less important, but it becomes less of a challenge or an issue. Because if you know what you're doing is the right thing to do, even when you take the loss, you can say, yeah, that's just a loser, and you can move on. And I think over time, you should be in a good position. And part of my trading plan, and that's why it's practice, practice, practice again, is in making sure that I am never, ever, under any circumstance, in any way, shape, or form, can I emphasize it anymore, ever overextended. And so when I take the loss, yeah, I'm taking a loss, but that's okay. That's part of what it is. In fact, that I said to you earlier today, looking back at the week and like it was the amount of money that I spent on commissions this week was huge, and it's like, man, I wish I could have some of that money back, but it's a cost of business.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I was just going to make one last segment or one last point, and that is that, losses are a cost of business as well.
Yeah. Now, you say practice. Are you telling the traders that they should practice like on a demo account? So can you define what you mean by practice?
Yeah, it's twofold. One, practice on a demo account so you learn how to use the platform, okay? But that's not going to go and make you a trader. All that's going to do is teach you how to go and use the tools. There's no reason to go and practice with real money if you don't know how to use the platform. Unless, of course, you just want to go and literally trade pennies. But even then, you can make a mistake if you're not familiar with the platform. And next thing you know, you're not trading. You thought you were trading with pennies, but in reality, you're trading with dimes, dollars, tens of dollars, So I wouldn't suggest that. So practice with a demo account so you learn how to use the platform. But then once you have your method in place, then what you got to do is you got to practice with real money. Because if you don't practice with real money, there's a big element of trading that's not there. And that's the psychology part that I'm sure you've covered this week, pretty heavily. Because when it's your money going out of your pocket, there's a brand new emotion that's there, a brand new dynamic, and we can all say that, I'm highly competitive, and even when I'm practicing with a demo, I get really upset. Well, let's see how upset you get when all of a sudden there's $1,000 that flew out of your pocket because of the market just moved. Let's see how you are when you're down $200, $300, $400 and your trading plan says stay in the trade, but you're saying I'm down $200, $300, $400. Do you jump out of that trade too early and not follow your trading plan? I'm making things up right now, because I don't know what every individual, trader's trading plan is. So yeah, you got to trade with real money. So it's there are places for both. There's a reason for having demo accounts, and I have demo accounts, and there's a reason for trading with real money.
So that's your practice. Is there anything else that you would emphasize, like when you're practicing?
My biggest thing when you're practicing, following your rules. That's the biggest thing for me when you're practicing. Follow your rules. In the beginning, I don't have my rules written out in front of me anymore, because they've become so ingrained in me at this point in time. I mean, doing this 10 years now, more than 10 years, they're pretty much ingrained in what I'm going to do. I know what my limits are. But the thing is, when we're first starting out, have it in front of you. Before you push the button to buy, before you push the button to sell, go through your rules real quick. Before you go and exit a trade, go through your rules real quick. Know your rules. Have them. I know you got your My Notes indicator. If that helps you, if you're a digital type person, put it right up on your screen so you can't miss it. But that kind of leads to another thing, Tiro, and that is that you can't have too many rules. Because if you can't go and get your rules down to a simple number less than 5, if you can, then there's just too many rules involved. I know you like to use the expression, maybe you're getting too cute. Well, maybe you are getting too cute. And, because of that, you need to go and simplify it. And it's just because your brain is a really incredible computer, okay? But the one disadvantage that your brain has is that it can only track a certain number of things at one time. And every person is different. Some people can track 2, 3 things. Some people can track 5, 7 things. But there is a limit as to how many things you can track simultaneously. So, get your rules down, make them concise. I'm not saying oversimplify, but I am saying, get it down so you can get it onto a 3x5 card.
It's really funny. I know you haven't watched my videos, but you sound so much like what I've been saying. In fact, I even used the 3x5 card.
That's funny.
Yeah,
but the thing is, if you want to be a successful trader, the reality is, there's just certain things that you have to do. You have to go and manage your emotion, manage your psychology, manage your risk, have a trading plan, have a game plan going in, okay, and be disciplined enough to go and follow it. And at least for me, the only way I've ever become disciplined in anything in my life, and it could just even outside of trading, is by going and purposefully going out there and going and practicing it. Let's say you got some type of fault in your personality, something that that you do that's just it's off-putting and you really shouldn't be doing it. Well, how do you go and resolve that in your life? You go out and you purposely go out and first of all try to avoid those situations, but if they're unavoidable, you go and have a game plan going in, how you're going to deal with it, and then you practice it. You practice putting a game plan into place. Well, if that works with life, shouldn't it work with trading as well? That's my question.
Right. So I just brought up the 1 minute screen. It's NFP day. And we were looking at, I was going to say it's almost gotten back to that return bar. And looking at the Walmal screen here, we see it went through the 40 and it popped up to looks like about 47.5. So there was pips to made on the upside this hour. And then to the downside right now, there's about 4 or 5 pips or more to be made.
Yeah, and it's funny because we were joking earlier. Was it going to go back to that? Go back to the open of that big 1 minute return bar when NFP news came out, and because it made it 2 or 3 minutes after that candle got put in, it got down to about probably 2/3 or maybe 3/4 of it. I'm not measuring it right now, but the thing is, we know it's going to get back to the open, and then probably, who knows where it's going to go. It may skyrocket back to the other side or not, but we just know that that's just one of the things that the market tends to do. It doesn't like having those big bars out there without being completed. And if you want to think about a story, so to speak, as to why that happens, well, there may be some big players down there that were on the wrong side of that trade, and they want to go and clear the books, of those trades. So they'll push the market down there, get those trades cleared off the books, and then they can bring the market to wherever they need to bring the market to.
Yeah, and that's an order block on the 1 minute.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So our order block boys and our imbalance boys, yeah, there's real reason to get that back down there,
Right. So as far as improving your own trading, what would be the thing you said that was the difference that made the difference with you?
For me, actually, it's similar, but it's different, and that is that I was popping from method to method to method, and just going, I was doing, round robin method. I was going out on all the different forums. Oh, this guy's making money. I got to do that. Oh, this guy's making money. I got to go do that. Oh, this guy's making money. And I finally went and said, scrap all that junk, let me just go and watch the market and see what it does, and I came, a friend of mine went and introduced me to you, and I said, that makes sense. And then what I did was, it took me a while. I'm going to be honest with you, Tiro. It took me a while to make money following with your advice of just trading horizontal lines, because a lot of it was because I had a bunch of other junk in my brain that was leftovers from all the other things I was doing. And part of it was, you got to practice and learn how to do it. It's sort of like, Kenny Rogers with that famous song, The Gambler, right? You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, and
right.
It's the same thing as with trading. How many times have I jumped into a trade and you said, why'd you go in there? Or I jump out of a trade. Why did you get out there? And, part of that's experience. Part of it is, I like to go, and I'd love to be able to go and put an EA in place to go and do that. And I'm sure, if I had enough brain power, I could go and do that. But a lot of it's just experience. It's just saying, I know what this pound does. I know what this, and the thing is, I guess that's another part of it. I decided to go and just concentrate on one instrument. And I know all these methods that you have will work on basically any instrument out there, whether it be a currency instrument or the stock market or futures, whatever, commodities. I know it'll work with anything. It's just, but the thing is, there are some things that each and every one of these instruments tend to do. I mean, why is it that, for instance, for the last couple of months or whatever, the pound has been really trading or ranging around 80 to 90 pips, but the euro has only been around 30 pips. So could I use the rat, your rat trade with the euro? Yeah, I could. But the numbers of so when I get into that trade and when I get out of that trade are going to be hugely different, and so you need to go and get that acquaintance.
Right. In fact, that's one of the things I did was I adjusted the rat to 15 pips because when I went through and ran the frequency distributions, the pound, used to range back in the good old days about 150 pips a day, and the euro was 100. And that's when we would wait for it to hit those extremes before we looked for a reversal. But nowadays, the 100 pip days are few and far between. But
Right.
you know what? And we're just about done for the day. So fellow traders, I think we'll keep talking about how to improve your trading. In fact, that's what all these videos are about pretty much, except the ones on the different indicators. So, the next time you sit down at your trading platform, Just remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out. And don't forget to hit that like button.